Hi and welcome to your yoga lesson. My name's Naomi and I'm going to be taking you through a sequence that's all about fluid flow. So you might have heard of the term flow yoga or Vinyasa yoga. That's exactly what we're going to do today. And we're going to move in between our poses, to and from poses, to really encourage subtlety in the muscles and just generally to keep us in the present moment and to make us feel good in our body and our mind. So grab yourselves your mat, make sure you are fit and healthy to join in today, and we're going to start in our child's pose. So we're going to come straight on in, taking the knees just about mat width apart, taking the big toes together, lengthen the hips back to the heels. Release the forehead to the mat if it reaches, but don't worry if it doesn't. You can just hover or put a block underneath your head. Extend the palms out in front of you, palms pressing down, fingertips long towards the front of the mat. And just take a few moments to settle in. Take a few cycles of breath here. And just set yourself up. It might be that you're practicing in your kitchen or your living room, maybe your bedroom. It can be sometimes a little bit hard to switch off from our lives and come onto our yoga mat if we're practicing in our own house. So just take a moment now and choose to be present. Choose to join in with the breath, to join in into the present moment with me. And as we move through our flow today, really encouraging the breath and the fluidity of our movements to keep you present, to just hold that brain space right here in the here and the now. When you're ready, gently rocking up to all fours, taking the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to start with some gentle hip circles, so just taking the hips around in a circle. Keep the spine nice and neutral, so try not to dip through the belly or to round through the shoulders. Keeping a neutral spine, just gently wiggling those hips around in a circle. And then take that circle in the other direction, just gently warming up into the hips, into the pelvis, and actually into the wrists as well. Really think in this if you can spread those fingers nice and wide and create a stable base for your shoulders. And then gently come back to center, coming into our cat-cow. Inhale, dip the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, round through the spine, gaze between the knees, dome out between the shoulder blades. Inhale and open, maybe trying to breathe through the nose if you can. You can close the eyes if you wish. Exhale, round through the spine. So already getting into that fluid movement, inhale and open. You might find that the spine is a little bit sticky. Exhale and round. You might find a stickiness as you move between the two. That's okay. Try to keep that movement fluid if you can. So sometimes we take a pause at those sticky points. Today, try to create fluidity from end to end of each flow that we come through. Taking a few more cycles of cat-cow at your own pace. Inhale as you dip the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale as you round through the spine and then come back to a neutral spine. From here, we're going to come into some barrel rolls with the belly button. So imagine your belly button is doing a circle, a vertical circle around the inside of a barrel. So we squeeze the belly button up to the spine, then take it to the right, down towards the floor, then to the left, and back up. We're trying to keep the hips and the shoulders relatively stable. They will, of course, move a little bit. You can move as fast or as slow as you want. It's getting some different movement into that spine, then move the other way. So one of the great things about moving with fluidity in our yoga practice is we can start to move outside of the box. We can start to take movements which moves our joints in a different way to our habitual pattern. So movement is great, but if you're sticking to the same movement every day, then we need to change it up a little bit. So there'll be some pretty different things in this class to what I normally teach, and that's okay. Come back to neutral and then take a couple of cycles of cat-cow. So those different things that we're going to do today, I wouldn't always do every day. But just as a bit of a change, they can be brilliant to open up, to mobilize and to release into our joints and into our muscles. Inhale and open. Exhale and round. Lovely. Just walk the hands a little bit further forward. And we're going to come down with the chest. Come into your puppy dog pose. Think about sinking the chest down. And then squeeze the lower ribs in and release. Just take that 2 more times. Squeeze in and release. 1 more time. Squeeze the lower ribs in, round through the upper back. And then release into that passive puppy dog. Walk the hands in a touch. Tuck the toes, push the hips up and back, downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, just walking the tiptoes in towards the hands, just as far as you can till the hamstrings start to feel that stretch. And then tiptoe the feet back again. We're going to take that a couple of times, so tiptoe the feet in. A little wiggle of the hips perhaps as you go, a little sway side to side. Feel free to add in any sort of wiggle, any movement that feels good, and walk it back in. And this time plant the feet between the hands. And exhale, soften into a forward fold, so bend the knees if you choose. Maybe take a hold of opposite elbow and sway side to side. Just gently finding some movement into your body. Really thinking about relaxing the crown of the head. If you're feeling more secure in your balance today, perhaps you take the fingertips to the mat and you take a wiggle forwards and backwards, lifting the toes, lifting the heels, finding that fluidity in your forward fold. And then inhale, roll all the way up, reach the fingertips all the way up to the sky, and coming into a gentle sun salutation, so forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Float yourself back to plank position. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, open up to cobra, and then maybe just roll the shoulders a little bit. Squeeze the glutes. Roll those shoulders. And then gently push yourself all the way back to downward facing dog. Take a breath, and then take your feet so they come a little closer together. Maybe even the big toes touch. Lift your right leg to the sky. Sweep your right leg through. Place your left knee down. And then gently push the hips back. And then come forward. So we're working between straightening that front leg, lifting the toes, bending the front knee, planting the toes. So just work your way between the two. Really begin to extend through the leg and through the back of the hamstring. If you're feeling a little bit tighter, that movement might look a little bit less. That's okay. We're going to come back to it and work on it a little deeper in a moment. Gently take the hands to the mat either side of that front foot. Going to lift up that back knee and then just move the hips however you choose. Maybe it's a figure of 8. Maybe you want to come up onto the fingertips or put your hands on yoga blocks. Just move those hips. Move into your lunge in perhaps a totally different way than you've ever moved before. Plant the hands to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Lift up the left toes, sweep the left foot to between the hands and drop the right knee down. We're going to come to that little fluid flow on the other side. So bending, coming from lunge, lengthening to half splits. Work your way between the two. Remembering if you are feeling tighter, you might be a little bit higher up, you might even have your hand on blocks, and you're not going to come to that full extension at either end of the pose if that doesn't feel right for you. Take 1 more cycle. Good. And then rest the hands either side of front foot, lift back knee. Maybe come to fingertips or blocks if that gives you more space, and begin to wiggle. So just draw any shape with those hips. Just take any free movement. Remembering we're thinking outside of the box today, not working into those prescribed fixed patterns, but finding movement in the whole of our joint. Press the hands into the earth and step back to downward facing dog. Tiptoe the feet to between the hands. And then inhale, sweep the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees and float your way back to your plank position. Lower knees, chest and chin. This time, inhale, come all the way up with the hips off the earth if you choose, into your upward facing dog. Exhale, lower the knees, push back to child's pose, and then round into downward facing dog. Take a breather. And reset. And then now coming back with that right leg all the way to the ceiling, sweep your right foot to between your hands, drop your left knee down, reach your right fingertips to the sky, come into that revolved lunge, maybe lift back knee if you choose. That's it, find that little bit of strength and place the right hand back to the mat. This time coming into that flow, coming forward to lunge. Exhale to half splits. One more time, forward and back. Lovely. Inhale, come forward, lift that back knee. Windmill your way all the way to warrior two. Really ground through both feet. Exhale into extended side angle. So front forearm to thigh, top arm up and over. And then reverse. Exhale forward. Inhale, reverse. Exhale forward. Inhale, reverse. Pause on that reverse. And then sweep the hands either side of the front foot. Place them to the mat. Reach your right leg up to the sky. Draw the knee to the nose as you come forward to plank. And then place the foot back into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up to the sky. Sweep it through. Drop your right knee down, left fingertips to the sky. Really keep that inner thigh active on that left leg right now so the knee stays tracking forward, not falling out. Take a breath and then exhale back into your low lunge. Push the hips back, half splits. Inhale forward, exhale back, inhale forward. Exhale back, lovely. This time as you inhale, come forward, lift the back knee, rotate the back toes so they're at nearly 90 degrees and windmill to your warrior two. Think about keeping the hips nice and strong. Into extended side angle, backhand reaches forward. Inhale, reverse warrior, lower body stays still. Exhale, forward fold, or leaning forward I should say, and then inhale, reverse. Last time, exhale into extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Pause for a moment. And then windmill the hands either side of the front foot. Step back and reach left leg to the ceiling. And then bring left knee to nose. And step it back. Downward facing dog. Last little flow now. Roll forward with the spine to a plank position. And then exhale with control. Squeeze the glutes. Open the chest to upward facing dog. And then use the abdominal muscles. Push yourself back to downward facing dog. One more time. Roll it forward. And then gently with control allow the hips to lower. Strong through the upper body. Squeezing your back body. And then gently with strength, release yourself into a child's pose. Push the hips back to the heels. And take a few cycles of breath. Let it go. And then just creep yourself forward. And we're going to stay in our relaxation on our fronts today. So take one hand onto the other. And take the forehead onto the hands. If you choose, you can look to one side. Maybe that feels better. Just take a few cycles of breath. Get yourself comfy. Maybe you bend the knees and you just wipe the legs side to side. And then in your own time, come to stillness, come to steadiness. And as we lay here on our fronts, feeling safe, and feeling our breath expanding into the earth. And that's going to keep us present as we stay here in our relaxation for a few moments. Feel the breath expand into the mat. Feel your belly pushing down. And then your back lowering towards the earth as you exhale. Just feel that transition throughout your body as you soften into the present moment, as your body breathes for you. If you're finding any discomfort in the lower back, then just push yourself into an easy child's pose. spending a few more moments here, letting all of that fantastic energy, movement, mobility to settle in our body so that we can use that energy throughout the rest of the day and into the rest of the week. When you're ready, just turn your gaze to face forward. Take your hands either side of your chest, and you can wiggle your way just straight to kneeling if you choose, or perhaps into a child's pose and then into kneeling. Reach the hands up to the sky when you get to kneeling. Take a pause and just breathe, and then bring the hands down through the heart center, closing the eyes, keeping them closed. And then gently lifting the fingertips to the forehead. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you feel this fantastic combination of energy and calm. That is a really, really nice benefit that you get from Vinyasa yoga, is this combination of your energizing and your excitement within your body, but at the same time that blissful calm that comes along with it. If you enjoyed this class but perhaps struggled with a few of the poses and want to know more about the key tips for alignment, then you can check out my Vinyasa yoga course below. It gives you all the tips you need to improve your basic postures, like your warrior 2, your warrior 1, your stepping from the back of the mat to the front of the mat. It'll help you with all of that and includes 2-hour-long classes as well. So feel free to check out that link below, and as always, have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon.